Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Lana Denny, Bulletproof Babes. And let me tell you two things that you absolutely have to do if you are checking into an Airbnb or even a hotel, because it could turn into a real nightmare for you. So let me tell you how this came up. I had a patient come in, and she didn't really have too serious a health problem, but I noticed she was on disability. Now, she was like a young, healthy person. I didn't want to pry too much about why she was on disability, but as I got to know her over time, her story came out. And this is what happened to her. She had a very successful job in tech, big career, and the company that she was with had sent her on a business trip to another city. And I don't know why, but they booked her an Airbnb, not a hotel room. And let me tell you, just my personal preference, I will never stay at an Airbnb. I don't want to stay in somebody's home. If I wanted to stay in somebody's home, I could go stay with a relative. Yeah, not happening, right? I'm a hotel person myself. Anyway, when she arrives at the city and takes an Uber from the airport to this Airbnb, she gets out of the Uber. Uber goes away. There she is with her luggage and her cell phone, checking the address. And she gets some guy who comes up to her and starts trying to engage her in conversation, tries to hit on her. And it escalates to the point where this guy actually puts his hands on her and she screams. And people on the street responded and they saved her from this guy, but she went directly into that Airbnb. So the next morning, she gets up, she goes to her business function, she comes back from it like 5, 6 o'clock at night. She goes in her Airbnb, and guess what? That guy had made his way inside. He raped her, he beat her, and he strangled her unconscious a couple times. It's like every woman's and maybe some men's worst nightmare. She barely survived that attack with her life. And to add insult to injury, when the police came, they were very skeptical about her story. Like, oh, are you sure you didn't just meet somebody in a bar and things got out of control? I mean, here she had to go to the hospital for a rape kit. She's got ligature marks around her neck. I mean, it was just such a nightmare for her, and it really derailed her life. She's been on disability ever since. She rarely leaves her home. Yeah, there you go. Like, it's going to take her time to recover from that if she ever does. So here's what I want you to know. First of all, if you have an altercation on the street, let's just say something like that happened with her, something verbal, or even road rage, you do not want people seeing where you are staying, where you're living, where you're going to be sleeping. That is a point of vulnerability. Take a walk around the block, do something else, drive a little bit further and circle back around. Do not let people see where you are staying. The second thing is, and this is a big thing, do a perimeter check of anything that you're staying in. And I do this with hotel rooms. You come in, it's not a big deal. First of all, when I'm checking into a hotel, when I'm walking down that hallway, first of all, I didn't even mention this, but I notice where those emergency exits are, because if there's a fire and there's smoke, you will not be able to see them. You're going to be crawling on the ground. You want to know where those emergency exits are. When I enter the room, I do a complete safety perimeter check. Like, the windows, what's outside of them? Is there a sliding glass door? How can I make these things more secure? Now, I live high up, so I like to stay high up. I'm much more comfortable. I hate being on ground level. But there's times I've rented cabins or whatnot, you're on the ground level, and I always make sure everything is locked up. Those windows, I always put a chair underneath the doorknob for the main door in there. And also when I stay in hotels, even though I stay high up, a lot of them have balconies that are accessible by the adjacent rooms' balconies. So am I going to leave that sliding glass door open at night? Not even in Hawaii. No, if I could see that somebody can make it from one balcony over to another balcony, that thing is locked and those curtains are drawn. So use it as your safety tip. When you check in someplace, you have got to make sure everything is secure. I forgot to mention, the reason he got into that Airbnb, and the police discovered not a single window was locked in that Airbnb unit. They were all unlocked. So it was very easy for him to come in off the street. This was a ground level, so the window's about here, and he was able to get that window up and get inside and wait for her like the rat scum predator he was. They still haven't made an arrest in that case. I'll see you soon.